I think that the elder daughter did have a lot of different responsibilities, but it shouldn't be to the point where it affects her dating life unless it was like a single mom situation or a single dad situation. But yeah, I'm a middle child, so I don't see men having issues with my sister. She's actually pretty submissive, maybe more than me.
You talking about the one that came on here?
No.
I've been reflecting. That's what I'm saying. This nigga came late to the party. I was answering you in sincerity in front of I don't know how many motherfucking people. And this tried me like he was gonna preach to me on some shit that I had already copped to, and that's what it really was. He wasn't on topic. He wanted to try to bash it, and he fucking can't. And the fact that you want to try to fucking bash me is the insane part about it, my nigga, because you don't know shit about me. You don't know shit about where I come from. You don't know shit about what I got or what I got going on. But I promise you this, every room that I'm motherfucking in got a that you want to be or want to know inside of it. I promise you fucking that. And I'm dropping my goddamn mic on that shit. So what you think about me? What you think about me? And what you think about me? Who's next?
Listen,
Who the is next? I give less than a Finn Newton Field. And if I was right here, I'd whip my goddamn I'd slap you in your goddamn mouth with it. Since I'm so goddamn manly.
Oh, okay.
That's my younger sister. She's also a middle child, but she got the bitter half of the middle child.
They all the same. Miss Pearl.
I'm sorry. That depends. It could be subjective, right? Sometimes the eldest or the oldest is more responsible, possibly, depending on how they were raised. Or they can be the ones with high anxiety because they had that early responsibility. Like some middle children, they say are attention seeking because they didn't get the necessary attention, right? And then they say the oldest child, the youngest child, the parents are just so tired by that child that they're kind of like reckless. So I don't know if it necessarily depends on if the person embodies those type of, I guess, aspects of their birth order. But I mean, you're actually true. Like it shouldn't matter, but for some people, it actually does.
Responsible or bossy?
In terms of the oldest?
Yeah.
Again, that could be subjective. Sometimes, a lot of the times they're bossy because I think their identity is wrapped with that high responsibility and it's kind of like a struggle for them to let go. But again, that's objective. Like not every oldest child, middle child, and youngest child is like that. But a lot of people fit in those categories. It's psychological. And that's why I say it's subjective depending on how they were raised. But I agree with you.
I love your balance. I love how balanced you are. You just, you're like a politician. You polished, not one side, not another side. You try to find a middle ground. That's respect.
Always two sides to the coin. Like, what we doing here? What we talking about?
I think it depends on the age group, like when they were born, because I grew up in a house with 4 daughters, right? I'm the second oldest, and my oldest sister had a somewhat of responsibility. I think it all starts with the parents. She watched us, but not to the point where it was enough to make her bossy, or because my mom was a homemaker, if that makes sense. So I think that the elder daughter did have a lot of different responsibilities, but it shouldn't be to the point where it affects her dating life unless it was like a single mom situation or a single dad situation. But yeah, I'm a middle child, so I don't see men having issues with my sister. She's actually pretty submissive, maybe more than me.
You talking about the one that came on here?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's my younger sister. She's also a middle child, but she got the bitter half of the middle child, because I was a middle star child. Like I was running track and I was winning everything. So my dad was like, I love you. She was more like the girl in the mirror. And my youngest sister, she just did what she wanted. But my eldest sister, she's 6 years older than me, so she kind of like had her own thing going on. It's kind of weird, but she's older than me enough to just like be completely separate from the last three cluster group. So I don't know.
I was just gonna say I am the youngest girl. It's three girls and my brother's the youngest. Um, and there's definitely a difference. My oldest, my the oldest sister, she definitely took on the mother role when we were younger, especially during the generation of latchkey kids. So, she had to be the one that was responsible for, me and my younger siblings. So she was braiding hair, she learned how to cook early, and like all of the things. I would definitely say she is the more submissive one out of like all of us. And as the youngest, I think I'm the more adventurous, the more, like let's get in it, kind of personality. Tomboy, just yeah. My middle sister, I'll say she's a balance of both. Very smart, very, career driven, but also takes care of her family, make sure her family's straight. So it's kind of like a balance in the middle. So yeah.
This is not dating experience, but from my experience of just kind of knowing that dynamic, it can go either or. So it can be the oldest child is super responsible and they just used to being a mom early, or that was somebody's first child where they was with the grandmom and they was running out, sneaking out, and going doing crazy things. Yeah, I know some experiences where the oldest child was the one who had a baby early, and it's almost a completely separate lifestyle from the new kids that person had, and they was raised completely different. The new group of kids are like, orderly and all that type of things, and the oldest one, it almost seems like it was raised by a different parent or it didn't have a parent. So
the oldest one could be the oldest sibling too are the meanest. Like even though she's just one of the things that I noticed, even with my two children, my daughter is the oldest, and she was mean to her little brother. My sister, she's sweet. She's like one of those that Sour Patch Kid commercial where they be like, "Oh, so sweet," and then like that's definitely her. But I think the greatest impact, to be honest, is just the environment itself. That will determine how not just the oldest kid, but how each kid responds to the environment that they're in. Because we all grew up in the same environment, but our response to that environment we grew up in has impacted each of us differently. And we can literally see it in each other's relationship. Like we'll talk amongst each other and we can identify like, oh, that's probably because of X, Y, and Z, how we respond within a relationship. So the environment, I think, has the biggest impact as opposed to the order of birth.
So I'll piggyback off of that and say the environment, and then also as far as like, so I'm the oldest of 8, and so from my biological mother's side, I was definitely cooking and cleaning and everything by the time I was like 5 or 6. And so my life compared to my siblings' life, one of my middle sisters, she is right now, she's a stripper. And so, and then I have another younger sister. She's not involved with her children, but my youngest sister, who I had a little bit more impact on differently because we were in a different environment. She's married right now, and she's new in her marriage. She's in her mid-20s, and she's God-fearing type of situation. So we're all very different. Even so, one of my younger sisters, you can't talk to her about submission. She's like, I make my own money, I pay my own bills. He's gonna fall in line. And she's very, very like strict in that, if that makes sense. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it with her. So it's different because like with me, I have more of a traditional submissive type of mindset. But it was like if I was raised to be a mom and a wife from childhood. And then when I got older, that I knew that that's what I was going to be. And with them, it was different because there was like a lack of responsibility, you know. And so with my youngest sister, there was definitely a balance of responsibility and free time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's all based on how they was technically raised. I don't really see a major difference between the second oldest or the first oldest. It's all based on how they're raised. If they have a proper structure, proper, you know, home structure, then the oldest child will be a responsible adult. But if that's not the case, then they'll be chaotic just like everybody else.